fine.
Hi, Rami.
Hello, so nice to see you.
Good to be seen. So where are
Yeah,
you at? What's that background?
this is my office actually.
Oh, it's
This is
beautiful.
where I work.
Oh, very nice. Where do you work? What kind of work do you do?
I work at Rituals,
What is
the
it?
cos Rituals, the cosmetics company.
Oh, okay.
So responsible for customer relations.
I can see you being good at that. I laugh because the different roles that we play,
Oh yes.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like it's like when you realize your true nature, like, okay, here we're the pristine infinite being, we're this space of beingness, this impersonal beingness, this effortless being, and here we are, find ourselves doing these little roles. You know what I mean?
so true. Yeah,
It's like you because you almost have to like go into that personal motive experience to to
yeah,
play the dualistic world. And it's almost like I just feel like when I'm playing the dualistic world, like I feel like it's like an energy game almost like so I just try to decide like how much energy do I really want to put into the dualistic
totally.
world because it drains your energy because um when you just sit like in the silence, you hear me like slowing my words, it's like because when you drop into this space of beingness, this presence, that we are, it's effortless and it's whole, it's complete, it's full,
Yes.
um, and it's whole, it's complete, it needs nothing. Um, yeah. So anyway, so what's
Try
alive for
try
you?
to
What's
reach your
alive for you?
KPIs, you
What's
know.
that?
Try to reach your KPIs. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Write a business plan.
But
Okay.
what's funny is we actually never move, and I discovered that like I was just on a cruise, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wait a second, I never really actually moved.
No, that's one of
It's
the
like
best
it's
things.
it's like stillness, like you're still, but you never actually move. It's because you're always the space of beingness, the
So
infinite
true.
consciousness.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting when you realize that.
It's one of the best things to realize.
Yeah. So what's
It's
alive
and
for you these days?
it's good, but it's really exactly what you were saying with the personal realm or the dualistic realm, the
Mhm.
individuality, which you do enter the moment you do your regular work most of the time.
Mhm.
And I had to laugh inside because I just watched the latest conversation of David Bingham this morning as I
Uh-huh.
drove to work. And it's literally what he said. It's like you're standing in front of the traffic light, it's red, and you're just in effortless being, you're doing nothing, you're enjoying the silence, you don't speak. And you can also do that at work as people are talking and conversing. And the moment someone addresses you and says, "What do you think?" The traffic light jumps on green and you need to jump into your suit.
It's so true. It's
It's
like because
really
we're
like
just
that.
we're just sitting here resting as effortless being,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and it's just like we've been programmed that we have to like I've been identified with
yeah,
this body here called Rob, and I've been conditioned with this story, and then people addressing me that way. It's like, wait a
yeah,
second, who gave me this label? Who gave me this like? Who said I was
yeah,
just identified with this? I'm the totality of existence. I'm the whole thing. But for some reason
yeah,
we're conditioned that way into separation. But there's when you come to see, there's no separation. It's all everything's like arising equally and effortlessly,
yeah,
in this space of beingness. And even when I look into your eyes there, I can see I see myself or you or whatever you want to say.
yeah.
The essence I'm speaking of now,
Yeah,
of itself.
cool. Yeah, exactly like that. And I do feel a reluctance more and more to go into the personal realm. And yes, you can stay within the effortless being, and speak from there or realize what you just did, the true nature that's looking at you, no matter who's opposite you. But if I'm honest, if people are very, very identified with the mind, with the ego, they have never heard of this, they don't care about it, they just do their daily things, it does get a bit tiring to level, let's say, because
You know what helps? You know what help me with that is like when you're speaking like that, if somebody's speaking to me like that, or me, there's no real me, but you know what I mean? Like when somebody's speaking, That way, I just changed their dialogue to Chinese. So it's
Yeah,
just wah, 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 or German. I'm not picking on anyone.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
yeah,
like I just turned it into that dialogue. So if I just turned into Chinese or Japanese, which and know the languages I can understand, if somebody's just
yeah.
speaking, it's just sounds. So there's like no meaning to it. So I just sit there like this,
No,
and then
but you
people
have to,
might get mad because I'll start laughing.
you have to respond. That's the part.
But that helps me because it takes the seriousness out of it. You know, it's just like,
Yes,
but
of
it's almost
course.
like I can see underneath it. You know what I mean? I always feel like I'm looking at infinite consciousness right now when I'm looking at you, or if anyone's looking at me and say maybe they're telling some story or they're getting all excited or whatever. It's like, but I can. It's almost like I'm in tune with what's underneath there because I know you're the infinite being. You can't be anything but that. But you're just kind of playing this game or you're playing this role. And so it's almost like I can see under it. It's like if I'm talking to somebody and they're saying, "Oh, I'm having such a bad day. I'm so depressed," and they're identifying, you know, with the dualistic world or this body or some emotion, and they're personalizing it, you know, and being personal. It's almost like when I'm looking at them, I can see beneath it though. I just see, well, I see you as peace. I see you as whole. I see you
Mhm.
as complete. I see you as infinite. I see you
Yeah.
as expansive. I see you as you. Like it's almost like I'm talking to myself. Like I see
Mhm.
the essence of what you are.
Yeah.
I can't see you any other way. So it almost takes the sting out of it. So I just kind of just hold the space for people,
Mhm.
you know, when I'm with them. I find that just throughout the day as I'm going, I'm just like holding this space and I'm kind of like the mirror for them to see for themselves. It's like it's nothing I'm doing. It's just the presence that they
Mhm.
are is just revealing the truth to them of what they are. And
Yeah.
then they just like sometimes if you just hold that space for people and let them talk,
Mhm.
and you mirror you be like the mirror for them, just reflect it back to them. They can
Yeah.
see themselves, their true nature, and then they're like, oh, that's ridiculous, I'm not that, like I'm identifying with this separate person or this thought. I'm just like one thought away from self-realization, just seeing through, you
That's
know,
only true for people who are seeking self-realization. That's not my
mhm,
experience with people who have nothing to do with this.
mhm. What is your
You know,
experience?
there was people that have nothing, that they're not looking for self-realization. They haven't even heard of it. They have no idea what it is.
Hmm.
With them, of course, what does work is if you see it in the impersonal awareness,
Hmm.
that it does take the sting out and you have a different sort of conversation, but you will still talk about the content.
Yeah.
Especially at work, you'll talk about work stuff,
Hmm.
etc. You can't just change the topic to
No,
I
you
want
don't
to
change.
away
Yeah, I know
from
what you're saying. Yeah,
relations. So
you still got to play the
it-
game. Yeah, play the role.
exactly, and that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's kind of that part.
But don't you think people can
Anyway, it's a
feel
bit
that?
of a reluctance,
But
let's
do you think
say.
people can feel that presence though? Like when, like even because like if I'm holding it and you're sitting there talking to me that way, like I have
Yeah.
to be in the work, I have to be in the separation. If I'm holding that presence with you and I'm feeling your essence is the same as
Mhm.
the essence that of what I am, just the presence in this space of beingness. Even though you're saying those words, but if I'm holding the stillness here, I'm holding the presence here. I mean, can you feel that vibration? Like, can you feel that energy, or can you feel that presence that's underneath the roles that people are playing or the words that they're saying? You know, can you feel that underneath? Can you feel that love or compassion that I'm holding for you or whatever, you know, this the space that you are underneath the roles? Can you feel it?
But I always feel it.
Hmm.
But it's this you can't just say copy paste this to everyone else you meet.
Hmm.
Although, of course, in essence, they are the same. They are impersonal being. But if they really don't see it that way, it's not a topic for them. They are just
Yeah.
their person, they're individuals. What even realize is sometimes it can become uncomfortable for them.
Hmm.
Too peaceful, too quiet.
So then you play,
Not coming back, let's say.
so you almost like almost like you're compromising. Would you
Yeah.
say you're
Yeah.
compromising?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
compromising and then just playing the role just for the
Yeah.
sake of I don't know, for the sake of whatever, for peace, I guess, maybe.
I do feel sometimes that's required.
Okay. And I kind of don't you feel like your intuition kind of nudges you that way? Like you kind of
Yeah.
know like
Yes,
when's
it's
the right time to bring up self-realization. Other times you know sometimes just silence is best, or sometimes just like you said, just playing the game a little bit with them, you know?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's almost like your intuition kind of nudges you that way automatically. I know we've talked about this before, how like when you can kind of tell like feeling in your body, like if you feel like expansive, you know, that's kind of like your intuition, you know, and
Yeah.
then if you're feeling the contraction,
Exactly.
So then you can kind of see, well, what thoughts am I thinking about?
Yeah.
Kind of check.
Yeah.
The body kind of tells the story. It's almost like that's how intuitions.
Yeah. That's how it works. Do you have another job like non-spirit spirituality related
Yeah, I
that you
do. I
have?
do some personal training at the gym
Okay.
because I enjoy it like
Yeah.
part time. I'll do a little bit of that,
Nice. Cool.
which is really fun. I've always like in high school and growing up in college and stuff like that. I was always like a sports guy,
Hmm.
played football, that kind of guy, the jock
Yeah.
in school. And so I've always
Mhm.
like loved working out. So that's always stayed with me before self-realization, after self-realization. It's just, an interest of mine. So, I'm doing like personal training with people, I have to play that role in the work world as well. But what I'm finding is that I still do that, but it's kind of minimal that I'm doing it.
Mhm.
And what I'm finding now for myself after self-realization is I'm my intuition is telling me to be more in alignment with the everyday life. Like make the everyday life as delightful as possible. So whatever feels easy, effortless, expansive, exciting, joyful. And so what's been arising in that space is like, writing books, for example, about spirituality or about effortless being. That's been coming through. Having conversations with seekers, people that are seeking. I don't know. That's been kind of aligned. I feel expansive with that. Just like you said, like being the mirror, the presence for people, and that feels really good. So I've been kind of like following that. So I've been doing some of that. So I've been doing some
Mhm.
coaching or mirror. You want to call it mirror things like with people. It's almost like I'm not doing the coaching, I'm just like being the mirror and the space, the presence for people. And so like on my YouTube channel, like I'll invite people to call in or contact me. We could set up a call. And so I've been finding that what life's been doing through
Yeah.
coming through is doing that with people. So that's been like evolving pretty good. The books that I've been doing a couple of books,
Yeah.
um, coaching, if you want to call it coaching or mirror sessions, I call them mirror sessions. Um, because you know what I found which is interesting too, is we've really been opening up for me right now. I just say me, but you know what I mean. I like to talk that way, but is what's really been coming through is that I've been seeing that like in the healing world, like people that are healers, coaches, therapists, the way that they're doing it is they're taking their patients or their clients and they're viewing them as already broken. They're
Yeah.
coming from that space as, oh, you're already broken. Let me analyze you. Let me fix you. Whereas if you're coming from the space of, holding the space of presence with them and being the mirror for them, now I'm coming from the place that you're already whole, you're already complete. I'm not the one doing the fixing. I'm just holding the space for you and reflecting back to you as the mirror that you can realize what you truly are. Because a lot of it's coming down to their identity. They're identifying with being this separate human, this separate person with all of these limitations and these problems, and they're broken. Even the religions are the same way. They're saying that, these religions of the world are saying, you're broken, you need forgiveness, you got to do so many good acts in order to get here, to have that, all these things that people have been conditioned. But if you're
Mhm.
coming from the space of being the mirror, if coaches, therapists, leaders would
Yeah.
just hold the space for people, people could heal themselves, so to speak, because their true nature is that everyone's remaining as the pristine, infinite being. It's just that consciousness is playing this game of separation and believing itself to be separate and to be in limitation as a limited human being, when in essence we're all remaining as the pristine, infinite being. So I'd love to see a paradigm shift in the therapist world or in the so that seems to be what's coming through with life, like just this intuition nudge
Hmm.
going that way. So I don't know what's happening with that, but that just seems to be what's coming through.
Yeah.
So it's almost like just trying to align, like I was saying earlier, to align the everyday life to more in alignment with your true nature. Um, because I was in the work world before. I mean, I worked for Cellular One, AT&T Wireless, the wireless industry for years. I was a district manager. I had like, I don't know, 30 store managers under me that I would manage, and in the corporate world. But it's just not in alignment with after self-realization. I just found that it kind of dropped away, and just what interests or what life was doing through me, it was different after self-realization. It's almost like I wanted to share this
Yeah.
with people because I found that that helped me with, me, but you know what I mean? Like it was like, wow, I don't want anybody to suffer or have to, I wanted to know the truth, really. I guess it was after truth, really, the truth of what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of like, what's alive for me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I notice something similar as well. I'm an Enneagram teacher. I've been for 15 years, the
Hmm.
9 personality types, basically. And well, the classic way, how it ever came to be, has everything to do with the real spirituality. It was really 2000 years ago about who or what are you really
Mm.
and what is it hiding behind. But of course, it got commercialized. Something else was done with it. So especially in the West, it's now used, just like you said, with therapies and psychologists as a tool to keep it going. Like you have a ticket, you buy another ticket and another and
Yeah,
another, and then you know
yeah, it just
the
keeps going. Yeah,
production
it's nothing
course,
ever
and then
gets
the
fixed.
next
It's like a
one.
loop. Yeah.
No, it's into eternal highlighting of the separation of the personality. I'm this number, you're that number, blah blah blah. All of these things. That's how you can use it. I never did that. I always kept it, you know, let's say I kept it the self free, what you really are. So I didn't go in as somebody asked.
Hmm.
I just leave it as it is, but I made it very clear you have an Enneagram type, you are not it. And I noticed the last few months it's shifting more and more towards non-duality. So
Yeah.
even at work, when I do it in a corporate setting, where normally it's all about team building, it's communication, career planning, personal development. And for that, you can use the Enneagram really well. So
Hmm.
that's basically always the reason why people book me. But I can't lie anymore, or anymore. I can't only focus on
No.
those things that are kind of nice in the corporate world. There
Yeah,
is
because
always
you
an
know,
under.
because you know that's not the solution. The solution
No,
is
no,
that they, like you said, non-duality, realizing
yeah,
that you're whole, that you're complete already, coming from that space. Not that they're broken or they have to keep doing these things over and over again. They have to come into alignment or, you know, all these tools that they have to get whole because they're broken. It's almost like they're coming from the premise that someone is broken, that they're not whole, that they're not complete. I mean, that's what's happening in people like doing, counselors or coaches or I know you said that I don't know much about how the Enneagram, what you said called how that world works, but I know there's some people that do the Byron Katie, the work.
mhm,
I really like how she does that last because that last question really has to do with getting to the heart of,
yes,
what you truly are, going to the identity level, to consciousness
yes,
level. So I really like how that goes in that way and in the work. So I kind of like how kind of some of the work that she's doing on that.
it's like
But it just all depends on the facilitator that's doing it, because if they're coming from the premise, that the person, because usually they'll say like, is that thought true? You
yeah,
know, they'll go there and then they'll go down the different questions. And then the last one will get to the heart of it, well, what are
yeah,
you really, in that?
yeah,
But the one that's going to help the people is breaking the identity, would be in the separate person. Like, what are you really? Like you said, to non-duality's point, is always questioning, where is this person that you're identifying with? And when people go to the direct experience, and anyone can do that, you can just pause right in this moment and just look for yourself. I mean, what's really here, you know? And it's almost like this beingness that's here, this presence that's here, it's always been here. Um, it's just that people identify it. Like I've been conditioned to identify that this presence, this beingness, this seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing, all of that, is Rob, and I'm separate. I'm this body, and that's it. And I'm here, and the world's out there. That's the conditioning, But if people can see through it, that you're the wholeness, you're the infinite being, you're the infinite space, where all of these things are coming and going, you
yeah.
know you can see through that. There's a peace in knowing that, wouldn't you say? Like when with self-realization, when you see the truth of what's really happening, what's going on, do you feel like a peace in that?
Always the quiet joy that's always underneath.
Hmm.
The peace of nothing wrong, the Ananda of Satchit Ananda. That's literally what it is, and it keeps amazing me. And if you don't look at it, if you don't search purposely for it, there is still a sense of quiet and peace, which is always there. But I find if I look for it, if I really focus on it, you get this extra sort of, well, I think last time we called it like a shot of bliss.
Yeah, the shot of bliss. Yeah,
Shot
that
of
was
bliss.
great.
That is always, but there's always that now there's always this undercurrent of peace and bliss, always, no matter what happens, what's going on. That is beautiful.
Can this undercurrent of peace that's always going on, can it get sick?
No, never.
Can it die? Does it get depressed?
Exactly.
And so this presence, um, and you talk about the five bodies, entering into the bliss, um, going into effortless being, or the wisdom body, and then the mental body, the emotional body, and then the physical body. When this presence enters into those modes of experience, can this presence be touched by any of it? Can it get hurt?
Exactly.
Can't get hurt. You can't, we're just having the experience. Like, it's like, that's why what I really like when David said, you're the infinite being having the human experience. Because that really kind of just puts it all in perspective. Like, you're realizing you're the infinite being. You're just having this human experience, not just this human experience. We can make the human experience enjoyable. It's like, because duality doesn't pass away. Look, you're there at work right now. I was just doing some personal training at the gym before I got on this call. So,
Yeah.
And you're still functioning. It's like, it's almost like the personal mode is still going. Like, it's like life just living through you. It's like your intuition is just running it. Like, you just get up and you just go and you do it. Like, if sometimes I'm watching myself, like, what's going on? Like, it's just like all, like, life's just happening.
Yeah.
It's like you realize that you're not the doer. Did you notice that too? Like, you're not the one doing it. There's no doer here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do that even with people. If what you just also did, this exercise of, how old is it? Does it have an age? Does it die? All of those things. So you can see it, of course, right here, right now. It can't be touched. It can't be harmed. But sometimes I even take it back to the so-called past. And I say, in hindsight, can you just check it? Like in the past, because many people are convinced something did happen to them, something really bad. Most people had quite bad experiences in life, right? Traumas, or there's something else going on. And there's always this surprise, this delightful surprise of, oh, actually, nothing happens. Even then, like even the past.
Nothing ever happened.
I can't touch it now, but it also didn't back then, although I thought it did. That's always a beautiful
So there's
realization.
just thought. It's just these thoughts that people are thinking. Then these stream of thoughts. It's just because any thoughts that you're having. When is it happening?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
happening now, right? There's only the eternal now that it's happening. So did it really even happen?
Yeah. But in a way, I feel sometimes, because if we only focus on the now, which also doesn't exist, it can look a bit like an exercise. And then people are like, yeah, okay, I know what you mean right now. And then it's just in this moment. But if I think about the past, or if the future happens again after our conversation, I'm back in it. And that's why I find it useful sometimes to just do this extra step and say, hey, let's have a look at the past. Has it ever been touched? Has it ever been harmed? Have you ever, in any of these situations, been less aware, less conscious? 50% aware, 20%? No.
I love that. I
Never.
love that. That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that
Yeah.
up. That is a great way to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. And then you always see this, oh my, it's like a cleansing of the past in a way. I don't want to, how do you say it? Make it sound less serious.
Yeah,
What's
you
the
don't want to
name?
like minimize, like, because somebody would be like, "Oh, when
Minimize,
I was a
exactly,
kid, I
or
had
right.
this child
It's not at
abuse
all
or
the
something
intention.
happened to me," and she's saying
Exactly.
that,
Right.
that never happened. Yeah, that's how
You get it.
pride
Of
can
course,
come
you
in.
get it. So yeah. So that's of course not what I'm trying to do. But if people are really in that space and they can see it, so it's almost like a purge of the past. It's just over. It's no longer interesting. You just see it right then and there.
Yeah, you can see
Even
right
that
through
was
it, and then
never
that
touched.
all drops, right? You're
Yeah.
relieved, right?
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
feel relief knowing that. Yeah.
And in a way, that is the work of Byron Katie. But instead of doing 1,000 worksheets on every single situation, every single thought, which is very helpful, especially with the big invitations, I find that this one, if you're really in that space and you have from that safety, you have a look at the past and you really experience it, it's over. It's just no longer interesting, and it really frees up a lot of energy to do so. It's yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people benefit from hearing that.
Yeah, it's
And
funny.
you've
It
seen,
came up and then I thought, oh, that's a good one actually. I never said it before.
look at that. We got an
But that's how
exclusive.
it goes, right? It
We
just
got an
triggered.
exclusive here. Look at all the energy everybody's getting back. All anything that happened in the past is all cleared out. It never happened. You're all good. You can relieve. Everybody's relieved. We just cured
Yeah,
counseling, and everybody, all
yeah,
those people going to therapy and
yeah,
counseling for all these things that happen. Look at that.
yeah. But then I say, just give me something else. Give me something really horrible. Anything, bring it on, you know. Please think of something. And then you can see people struggling, like, oh, shit,
Yeah, where is it?
anything.
Where is it then? It's just a story in the head, right?
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
like a movie.
exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the work of biomKT is non-duality. It's just not called that, I think. But it's definitely 100% what it is. And I think
Yeah, I
in
mean,
practice,
yeah,
it's
because
often
sometimes
the
you say
first step.
non-duality, some people might have different connotations as to what that is.
Yeah,
Because some people that I talk to when you say non-duality, they think of like some people they think of like the radical non-duality, where you're saying,
yeah,
oh, there's no one here, there's this, that, we're disconnected, spiritual
yeah.
bypass, night of the
Oh, yes.
soul, like all these thoughts come rushing up.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Say something about it. People listening
Yeah.
might be in that mode. What could you say?
Yeah. Um, Truly, it is one of the invitations. That's what it is. But it's a very, if you don't know better, it could be a very, it could seem like a valid one to
Hmm.
say, oh my God, it's spiritual bypassing. I must work through everything. I have to welcome or suppress or reject or medicate, whatever, all my feelings, all my emotions, everything that happened in the past. I have to clear up the karma. You name it. It's an endless road.
Sounds
And unless
exhausting. You're
all these
exhausting me,
steps,
Rami. I'm exhausted.
right? Yeah, exactly. But unless all these steps have been done, it may be spiritual bypassing. And that sounds quite intellectual and really good and very sharp.
Mhm.
And it was one of the things that also hit me. When I heard it the first time, I was like, ooh, is this something? Oh, wow. It's an invitation you could definitely, let in or accept if you don't know better. And then you're on the right again.
Back on
The
the ride.
back on the right. So definitely. I do see, I mean, there is a risk if people do it intellectually and they just say, oh, now I got it, I'm this, not that, done. That could be seen as spiritual bypassing, but it always has as a result that there is no quiet joy. There is no peace underneath. It doesn't matter what's happening. And then it didn't really, it wasn't really seen maybe in that moment. So that one I fully acknowledge. And then you don't help anyone by saying, oh, well, you're self-realized, good luck. Then it's really good to help and make sure people do see it. But if people have seen it, yeah, I would never encourage to believe the thought, can this be spiritual bypassing? Can this be, no, that's not what this is. And I mean, I think you talk about the teachers like Jim Newman, right? And
Yeah, Jim Newman. Yeah, those kinds, the radical
yeah,
non-duality.
very,
Tony
yeah,
Tony
this
Parsons.
Tony
Tony
Parsons,
Parsons.
of course. It's always amusing to see.
It's like entertainment.
Entertainment, I see the truth as well. It's very radical and they just don't compromise at all. So I get it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, in reality, there really is no person here. But do we really have to go to that
That
extreme
is
with it?
true. That
Because
is true. But I don't know
we're
if it
still
really
having a
helps.
human experience here, right? We're still having a human experience.
Yeah, exactly. And to completely negate that and
Yeah.
sort of give the feeling to people, if you don't negate that personal space, the fact that there is the appearance of a human through which functioning
Yeah, the
happens.
body's still here, right?
Of course, and it drives people crazy. And I don't see people getting self-realized through that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't
I
really
just
see
see
that either.
confusion. And so personally, I do like the other approach better. John Wheeler or David Bingham, for example.
Definitely. Yeah.
No
It's
way,
more,
do
it's
pick.
a direct, it's still a direct experience, but
Yes,
it's
it is.
still, it's still acknowledging the human experience though.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not denying the human experience. Like
Oh,
we're not saying, oh, the depression's the beloved. We're not saying,
no way, exactly.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like we're
no.
still having the human, and it should come from love because I mean our true nature is love, compassion, all allowing.
Yeah, yeah. And also to not feel um, like something is wrong or it has been lost if it doesn't work for a second. If people, although they know their true nature, if they feel they can't experience the quiet joy,
Hmm.
and they say, but what good does it do that I know that I'm awareness if I'm still suffering for hours because of some things that are going on?
Hmm.
In that case, I also say, don't beat yourself up and just
Right.
wait and see it will pass. This
Right.
too will pass. Just wait. You will
Yep.
have the different experience again. And then at the same time, always have a look at what is experiencing it, regardless of the content.
Yeah, because that's where the freedom is looking at what is it that's having that experience?
Yeah.
What is it really that's experiencing that?
Mhm.
If you can see through what that is that's
Yeah.
experiencing it, you'll see that there's no separation, there's no separate person experiencing it.
No, but I
Even though
also, I
the
do
even though the
find
thoughts are inviting you to, to identify
exactly,
with
exactly.
that. But if you
Yeah.
if you can see through it, then you're out of it. You're free. Once you become aware of it,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
out
And
of
for
it.
that, I do think it's helpful to sometimes talk about the other side of the coin, which is apparently, right? Because we're not talking about the essence, we're talking about the Fata Morgana, the whatever appears to be,
Hmm.
right? There appears to be an external force in some way that just provides the invitations. So that's also maybe good for people. It's not their fault. It's not that they generate their thoughts, that they do something wrong, or that they are not there yet, or that they have lost it. In my experience, there is something external going on that does try to get people back into identification. And just to be aware of it and to view it like a mosquito, just like a sort of parasite, it's trying to suck not your blood, but your energy in that
Hmm.
sense. And also, my experience, it can't do anything unless you consent. And in innocence that most people are in, they do consent without even realizing that they do, because they think, oh, this thing, I have to think about it. Oh, this is such a big invitation, or it's one from the past that I always had, or there's this person standing in front of me demanding an answer. I have to do something with it. To just remember, you don't have to give consent to that either. You
Yeah.
know,
So you're
it
you're there in the work world, and one of your coworkers is coming up to you, Rami, and maybe they're giving you an invitation to say, "Oh, I hate this job. I hate my life." Da, 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 and they're trying to like suck you into that. So how would you handle that? You would just remain as the space for them, or would you like play along? Like give me an idea, like how you would, walk me through it.
Yeah. So what happens is it's being the space, exactly like you said.
Hmm.
It's listening, but it's really being there. And it is the fact, and it's an energetic sort of thing. So it's not even anything I'm saying, but energetically, I probably transmit the fact that I don't believe a word that they say. Of course, you can't say that because you would hurt people's feelings.
Hmm.
But if they make a whole drama out of something, "Huh, don't like this or that," and
Hmm.
uh, it's all going on, and they just feel this quiet
Quiet presence. Yeah.
presence, energy field, exactly. It's almost like if you came home from school and you were crying, and you went to your mom and you said, "Oh, they stole my lunch," or something like that, and you felt from your mom that it's not the end of the world. In 2 days you'll have forgotten. It's gonna be fine. It's really not a big deal. That sort of thing still works when people are grown up. They just feel it's not a big deal. And I really don't do it in an insulting way or again negating the seriousness of the perceived situation. But it's just this. I just feel them. I see them relaxing when they see like, hey, the spark is not jumping over. I can't ignite a fire there with oil and you know.
It's almost
I'm
like it's almost like you're holding that space for them, and you're like you said, you're like the mirror for them. You're holding
yeah.
the space, you're reflecting back, and it's not like you're doing it. It's not like Rami's doing it. It's the presence because you're holding that space and that silence and that
Yeah.
space of beingness, and they're going da 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 da, and then it's just like you're holding the space and just reflecting back. Oh,
Yeah.
is it,
Yeah.
you know? And then it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, and then it just drops, and you, like you said, that you feel like
Hmm.
you see them, the relief.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's consciousness doing it.
Hmm. And I do see a difference there from Romy in the past, before self-realization and now. For example, last week, someone from my team also, we had a conversation and I noticed she was a bit different, not as enthusiastic about things. And I just asked like, hey, what's going on? Everything okay? And then she started crying and said, it looks like her relationship isn't going too well,
Yeah,
Things may happen. They have been together for many years.
yeah.
And many years ago, I would have thought, oh, that's really bad. And I hope they will be okay together. And, you would have seen images of her or him being alone, being lonely, whatever it is, whatever the images are that could come with it.
Hmm.
The only thing I saw last week was, so what? Could be cool.
Yeah, opportunity, right? Freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I didn't say that, but
No,
it
I
was there
know.
was
Your
no
energy, your
problem at
energy
all.
was speaking it. The
Energy said
stillness was
yes. It
speaking.
was really like, oh, okay, well, all right,
Yeah.
not
And
not
then,
saying it
and don't you find
forcefully.
when you're reflecting that it's
Yeah,
not a big deal, then they realize it for them, wait a second, this is not a
yeah,
big deal. Like what? When you're holding the
no,
space of,
yeah,
yeah, and cool. Like
yeah,
what
exactly.
opportunity could come out of this?
That's right. So that's the difference that I do notice. I
You did
can't
notice
fake it
that after
anymore.
self-realization that, yeah,
Oh
the
yeah, that's
difference.
really after self-realization. So what we falsely thought of empathy isn't really empathy, right?
Hmm.
And the funny thing is, in German and in Dutch, it means, if you translate it, it's medelijden or mitleid, which means you suffer along. That's literally what it says.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, mitleid. So you suffer together with someone. And that's literally what it is.
Oh,
But
interesting.
people are always raised to think, oh my God, empathy is great. You need to have empathy. You need to, if you can, maybe you also have a few tears and you feel what they feel and you connect. And many people perceive that as helpful and loving and support, but it isn't really. It is literally suffering along.
Yeah, well, that's not helpful to anybody if you're suffering
Not
alone.
helpful.
Why not hold
No.
the space of what the truth
Yeah.
is that you are already whole, you're already
Correct.
complete.
Yeah.
There's nothing serious going
No.
on. All is
No.
well.
No.
And it's just that you're believing these thoughts and making this story out of it, and it's not serving you. Can you
No.
see through that?
No. No. And that is something people just feel the truth of that. I can't
Mhm.
even explain it, but they feel the truth without you having to say it even.
Yeah, it's almost because your presence is saying it. Like you said, it's an energetic thing that's being transmitted. It's not the words, it's the presence, the
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. And I mean, they even know it, right? If you just logically look at it,
Mhm.
and you're older than 30 or 40, you will have had certain relationships that ended. And it
Right.
looked like the end of the world back then. And then now the people are looking back and they're like, oh yeah, wait, what year was that? Or
Yeah, you don't even know the
no.
year. I know because I have an ex too. I have an ex-wife, and I'm just trying to remember, like, what was it like?
Exactly right.
Like, I have no idea. Like, did it even happen? Did I even have
Yeah.
this guy?
Or sometimes even like, I went to this restaurant always with this one. Was it that one or was it
Yeah.
another relationship?
Did it even happen?
Right? Exactly. So even in the dualistic world, you can test that this is true. But it's actually you can save all the time and you can do it right here now, like immediately. You can realize it.
Yeah,
And
right
that
here.
indeed, who's looking? Who is looking? Is it
Yeah,
the
who?
person? Or is it what you are?
Right. Because there's no separate person here. When you ask the question and you check, you can see it for yourself. It's almost like it's almost like they're remembering it. It's like everybody knows
Yes,
this. It's
everybody
just
knows it.
everyone
Exactly.
knows this. So you just like
Right.
they're just remembering it. So
Yes,
that's all they're doing.
that's right.
Oh yeah, and I think when I see a lot of people like when the lights go on, so to speak, like it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I kind of knew this, kind of obvious. Like,
Yeah.
I remember this. Like nothing you're telling me, this
Yeah.
really it's more obvious than you think. It's just it's right here. It's closer than your breath. It's just
Yes.
this light of consciousness. It
Yeah.
reminds me that the first video I ever did on YouTube, I was at the beach. I don't know if I talked to you about that. I was on the beach in North Carolina. Did I tell you about this story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I was on the beach in North Carolina. This is right after I had I heard David speaking on the greatest secret, you're the infinite being, um, having a human experience. And I was down
Mm.
with it was just shortly after that. We were on a family vacation, so had some quiet time. I was on the beach and I decided, I'm just gonna just walk and talk with my phone. So then I made this video prior to consciousness,
Mhm.
how what's before consciousness actually arises and we're conscious and then the world appears and before all of that, you know what is this prior to consciousness, this beingness that's already here, this infinite being, this impersonal beingness that when you drop down you can feel it like it's here before even consciousness comes up, and then it's just the light of consciousness that's up, and you're all of the light, you're everything, and everything's just arising in this space of consciousness, this light of consciousness that you are, the essence of the light, and these forms that are coming and going. And I was just like on the beach, like just talking about this. And I had sent it to David. That was my very first video. And he's like, oh, it's pretty good. He said, do you mind if I send it around to a few people? So he did. And it's funny because when I have some of these interviews now with people, a lot of them like, oh, you were the one that did the video on the beach that prior to consciousness. It's like, yeah, yeah. But it was just so funny when you had brought that up because I was thinking about that. That's what just came up, was thinking about that time when I first started the YouTube channel, which was like about 3 years ago that I started that. And then I was just going back watching some of the videos, when I first realized my true nature, and then ha how things, I don't want to say progressed, but think how things were, the videos looked a little different. I remember when I first had self-realization, um, I had got interviewed by Nothing Media. Are you familiar with who they are?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. And she had interviewed me. They're big into like not like radical non-duality and stuff. And they interviewed me, and I can relate to a lot of like what, the radical non-duality, because there's no one here, because in essence, there really is no one here. But then as I went along, it was almost like integrating it into the human experience. And when I even say integration, that feels like a story to me too. Like the whole integration thing feels like a story, because the whole time we're always remaining as the infinite being. But if you're talking in as far as the dualistic world and integration and just like your everyday life, I guess you could talk that way, So then I would always struggle like with the language. And then, even
Yeah.
David says, there's effortless, impersonal awareness of this feeling of joy or of depression, or, it's
Yeah.
almost like, even so, even when you're communicating with the words, I remember that being like something for me. Like when I did that first interview, I was always like, well, there's no me here or you, but how else do I talk to you about this story? Yes, everything's a story. Like I remember that whole world, like, and there's nobody here, and then just feeling like detached. And it was almost like I could just remember just sitting in my backyard, and I was just marinating in beingness, and that was it. I wasn't so active on YouTube or talking to people or any of that. I was just in this state of just just like my pause, like my silence, beingness, and there was no need for words or I don't know, like because I felt full in my beingness.
Yeah.
I literally get goosebumps just talking about that, because like it just comes like I could almost just sit in the peace and not even really express. And I
Mhm.
remember one time, yeah, David sent me a thing because I had sent, we would email sometimes, here and there, and then he was like, "Are you going to express from your sovereignty, from your presence?" And it was almost like I've been sitting in this state of just beingness, presence, full, whole, complete.
Mhm.
And when he said that, then something came through that just wanted to express. So I think sometimes people go through that, like maybe when they first learn their true nature, they're marinating their beingness, and they just want to be, maybe they're out in nature, or they're just,
Yeah.
it's almost like, because I can remember even like the work world and stuff like that. Like I just always remember wanting to be alone, or
Mhm.
just be silent and just sit in the beingness, the
Yes.
quietness of the being.
Yeah.
And because I really didn't really interest me to do, you almost like you're losing interest in the dualistic world. But then
Yes.
after a while, it's like, then oh, wait, I do want to share this though, because I like how this feels. And I want it for, everyone to feel this or know this. So then
Yeah.
there's that. And then there's integrating it into the everyday life. Well, what roles, I'm still playing roles. I'm still dad. There's still, and then the mind will come in, well, you need to go to work. You have to pay bills. You got money. You got to make money. And I even look at that and I would say, well, because there would be a knowingness that, well, what I am abundance. I am everything. I'm whole, I'm complete. My presence alone is money. The value, I am the value. My presence is the value.
Yeah.
I am abundant. I am whole.
Mhm.
Everything comes to me. Not
Yeah.
me, but everything is here. Because I'm the presence. Like I'm all of it. So
Okay.
I'm already whole and complete. I'm full.
Yeah.
So, so then people go through that. But hmm,
Yeah, what comes up for me right now is the difference between knowing it and being it. Because very
uh,
often people are looking for the knowledge. They want to know it, experience it, know it, and everything you can know is not it. But to be it, that you are it, that realization. And then, of course, the next step is to realize everything you know is also you because it appears in you. But
right.
that's sometimes a bit too much to say right away. But just the relief that I see in people when they realize they don't have to look any further in knowing. There's nothing they can do, there's nothing they have to do to know this truth. It's not about knowing it. You are it. And then
Being.
very often it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and you can't see what you are. You can't know what you are. It is literally unknowable. And it's literally the only thing that's always here.
So that's when the seeking stops and you
Yeah,
just be it because you can't help but be it anyway. And you've always been being it
yeah,
anyway. It's just that the mind or the thoughts are telling you that you're not. And I've seen that with people that I'm talking to saying, this one guy called me up. He saw some of my interviews on YouTube and he contacted me and what did he say? He was saying, he goes, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what David Bingham's saying. I'm watching all these conscious TV and these interviews that you're doing, that David, you guys are speaking similar things. And what did he say? He said, I can see that that there's this voice in my head and I know it's not me and that I'm not my thoughts, that these thoughts are telling me these things and I kind of just like doing this dance with my thoughts, like saying, well, that's not, like he's having this conversation with this thought, almost like how how Eckhart Tolle was like talking about, well, there's these two voices in my head, there's this voice in my head that's saying these things. So he was like seeing through his thoughts, basically, is what I'm saying. Like he could see through his thoughts that he wasn't his thoughts, you
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
And so he's like, well, is that what self-realization, is that what this is? Almost like he just needed a confirmation. I go, yeah, you're self-realized.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah, you are. Like almost like they wanted the confirmation. He's like, that's all I really needed to hear. And okay,
yeah,
all is well. Like sometimes people just want that confirmation. Like, is this what you're
yeah,
talking?
correct. Yes, I recognize
So
it.
if you were to say self-realization, what is it? What comes up?
I love that question. I just felt, but that doesn't really help because we need words.
Well, you said it. Okay, well, let's move on. The president said it. That's it.
It was
Because
really,
really, it's just this. Yeah,
it's just
self-realization is
this.
just
It
this.
is just this,
Basically, it's
yeah.
just seeing through
Yeah,
that you're not your thoughts, that you're not this limited,
no,
separate person, that it's always
no,
been just this. And
yeah,
like you said, being it, there's no need to know anymore.
no,
Maybe you
no,
just need the mirror just to confirm that.
exactly. And what it also, I find it also very loving because it takes away the misunderstanding that people sometimes have that they have to kill their minds, have to kill the ego, you have to get rid of it. The thought is the evil one, or all of these things. What it actually is you give your mind time off. You know,
Really
it's
is.
bank holiday, whatever. Give it a few, a few days of vacation, because you don't need to know what it is. You are it. And really, at that moment when they really realize that, they don't fight the mind anymore. It's really like, oh, literally, this is a tool I don't need for this.
You
I
can put
don't
the
need
mind
it.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to fight it. It's. I also always say to people I speak with, the mind is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful tool, but I only use it for shopping lists, uh, memories,
Sometimes it likes something to do. Maybe just give it a thing to do. Go make a list
something
of
to
what
do.
groceries
Yes,
I need.
yeah, correct.
And you just marinate in your beingness.
Yeah,
Good, go give it a
yeah.
task.
Make this presentation. Thank
Yeah,
you. Bye.
make this presentation for work.
Yeah, it's and for that it's great, and then it's still busy and it does its thing. But that is a big difference. And I just let me know if it's interesting or not, if it resonates or not. But what just comes up for me is to share an example I had last week.
Yes.
We had friends over, um, and very non-religious. No, there is nothing after death. Nietzsche rules. Very intellectual. Reading many books. So someone that you can have lots of hours of deep philosophy with, which is quite enjoyable,
Yeah.
but who would never go into this area of direct experience, because they would think like, no, I'm beyond that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. They
Mhm.
they have this conviction that it's something you believe in or you don't. And with that comes immediately this. So I'm not even gonna
And yeah, your
test
intuition's telling you.
anything,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's just, it's yeah. But what happened is that the theme or the topic of self-worth came up,
Mm.
and of parents that didn't give a lot of reason for self-esteem, for self-worth, that didn't,
Yeah.
uh,
Build them
just
up.
didn't
Or, yeah.
think correctly or whatever. And the whole discussion came into, what was caused by the parents and how the suffering is there still today. And then also there are some doubts of how much am I not giving myself self-worth, right? That's what the topic they had brought up,
Yeah.
and how painful it is. And it was a bit late already in the evening, and there was no intention on my part to go towards non-duality. But what came out was, and I hope I can repeat it correctly, but self-worth and the opposite of it, right? Feeling like a loser, like someone that is completely worthless.
Hmm.
What if just for a second, no self-worth, no not self-worth? So both are just for a second are not there. What's left? And he was like, oh my God, oh my God. He was really quiet, like for seconds. And then he said, this is transcendental. He said, I feel it. I feel it. You're
Yeah.
not bullshitting me. He said,
Right.
you're not suppressing. This is not some sort of mind game. He said, you're talking about transcendence. What what's between self-worth and no self-worth?
Hmm.
What's left? What's there? And I said, and how does it feel? Does it feel worthless? Or he was like,
Yeah. That's great.
I think even it's beyond self-worth, basically. And it is, of course, abundance. It's exactly what you were saying. It was such a beautiful realization. He just didn't know what to say anymore. And then he said, but how can that be? Because I have this certain image of myself. And I said, yes. And then one day you hate yourself, and the other day you think secretly you're better than others, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah, he said yeah.
And I said, but what happens? Because he also is a musician. I said, what if you play the guitar or whatever, if you forget to think about yourself? Does that happen sometimes?
Yeah.
No self-love, no self-hate. That
Yeah.
happens. The
Yeah.
flow. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
I said, well, then
Right.
can you be that image, that person that you sometimes love and sometimes hate, if it comes and goes? Like, what is still there if you don't think about it? And
Right.
that almost went a bit too far, because he's like, I can't, I can't go
I'm
there. I
just the
can't.
presence. I'm just the presence. There's no person here. I was just a
Yeah,
thought I had about myself.
yeah, yeah.
Just
He
the
could not.
infinite
He could not.
being.
use logic to explain it, but from direct own experience, he did confirm
Okay.
that there are moments every day when the person is not there, and he's still there.
There you go. That's
So that was
self-realization right there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
I love how you talk about direct experience too, because how can you argue with direct experience?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your direct experience. You're seeing that there's no person there. And I just love how you illustrated that with that experience that you had, because it really shows, that there was no, and people know it from their direct experience. It's almost like they're remembering it. Like when you're
It's remembering.
like, oh
Yes.
yeah, it's like I was just caught up in that story,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Bullshit
truth, the
when you
truth
see
is
it.
the truth. You can't argue with
Yes.
the truth. The truth is
Correct.
the direct experience of what's happening.
Right. That's right. And I got quite a lot of really nice messages after our last conversation. And
Yeah.
then what people liked especially were those sort of examples from real life.
Yeah. I know.
When
Yeah.
you're not talking in effortless being, but you are dealing with the world, with whatever's going on. And to really speak from there, like what's the difference then before and after self-realization? How does it express itself? So I thought that could be a nice
That's a
example
good
to,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, I
elucidate.
mean, it comes up for me when you're saying that, like, just everyday life stuff. Like, I just think about, different projects and things that I'm involved in. Like there's one I'm doing now called the Abundance Experiment, and that's where we get people on a call. Judy and I are doing that, where we get
I
them on
was
a
thinking that that sounds
Judy.
like a topic for Julie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and Judy got together. We did a book about effortless abundance, and we're doing this weekly Zoom call that we're having people, this cohort that we're having people join, and we take out of the book, there's like 12 of them, 12 things that we talk about that prevent people from, realizing that they're already abundant. And then we just kind of apply it into your everyday life. So you can see it playing out in the 3D world. Because a lot of things with abundance, with that subject, is a lot of people think it's they've been raised to have these limited beliefs,
Yes.
and a lot of it goes back to what you were saying is the self-worthiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve money, or I have to work hard to get money. There's this idea that we've been conditioned, especially here in the West, in the United States, that you have to work hard to get money. It just can't come effortlessly. And it was
Yeah.
funny because I did an interview the other day. I just posted it to my thing. I was out on the one of the cruise ships, and I was at this Abraham Hicks event, and one of the guys that was on there, we were getting into a conversation about it, and he was talking about it in the interview, how money can come to you effortlessly. And he was giving the example how he had gotten an inheritance. And he goes, "Did I really have to work hard for that? It just came effortlessly, into my world. I didn't have to go out and work a 9 to 5 and do all that. And do all that. The point I'm only trying to make is that money just doesn't have to come to you just through a 9 to 5 job. I mean, and you have to work hard for it. You're the infinite being. You're abundant already. You deserve your presence alone. I think what people miss the point is your presence alone is the value that it's so valuable. Your presence,
Yeah.
because you are the infinite being. You already whole. You're complete. You have everything. You are the abundance. It's not like the abundance. You are it. And
Yeah.
so when you come from that space, that I am the creator. I am the abundance space. Those things just effortlessly flow into your life through synchronicities,
Yeah.
happenstances, like things that just line up for you. Like him getting the inheritance. It could be other ways too. Maybe you get the idea for a certain business idea. That comes up.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Different things like that. Just aligning with that. It just kind of just happens effortlessly. So,
Yeah.
those are just some everyday things that, that I see because, in the world, like, because people think about that, like, how am I going to earn money? I got bills to pay. Um, it's great, this whole self-realization thing, it's great. You feel this peace and this happiness and you know it, but some people, they might be having the experience of how am I going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's real. That's because they're really believing that, that I'm this separate person. I got to pay these, and and that's why I always say I'm never denying any experience anyone's having. I just hold that space for them. I honor that. I honor
Yeah.
that completely.
Yeah. But also, I think that's a good one. It's great that you're doing this with Julie because
Yeah.
this is so under highlighted in a way. It's just not looked at.
Yeah.
And sometimes people look at it dismissively, like manifestation, all of these things. But there is something like, I could call it the innocent flip side of manifestation, which is even after self-realization, innocently, if you don't even look at money and things like that, because you think, oh, that's all material, and let's not look at it.
You just dismiss it. Yeah.
You just dismiss it. There is a chance that you will keep the belief, and you may not be aware of it, the belief that we all have been raised with, which is you can't get anything for free. You have to
Right.
earn it. You have to work hard for it. It cannot come to you just like that. And because this universe is perfect, it will, of course, also reflect that perfectly to you. So if you believe you have to work 9 to 5, it just can't come out of nothing. Or another nice one is you can only be rich if someone else is poor.
Right. Like there's a limited supply we're all fighting
There's a
over.
limited
It's not
supply
true.
and guilt and
Yeah.
blame and all of that. And this is something I also find if people don't know it, if they don't look at it, this might be hampering them a little bit. So the innocent flip side of manifestation. So yes, you can manifest, and the best is to do it for effortless being, and just to say whatever an effortless being needs should come out. That's what I do. But if they don't look at the flip side of it and they innocently still condone and accept these beliefs that you have to work hard for it, that will be mirrored, that will be reflected.
That will be your life experience because your
Will-
beliefs, whatever you're
It will.
believing, is going to be mirrored out there or,
Yeah, yeah,
in the everyday life.
yeah.
So it's almost like you have to see through that belief. And that's kind of like what Judy and I are doing. And Judy was, she instrumental in opening my eyes to a lot of this stuff. She's
Mhm.
really helped in that respect. She's really keen on that. And she's, got a lot of experience with that. So, I mean, seeing through those thoughts of, that you have to work hard to get money, that you can't just have it effortlessly. And you can, because there's examples after examples. And when you really know what your true worth is, that you are the infinite being, that you deserve it, and that you could hold the belief that you are the effortless being. You are the everything. You're the allness. You're effortless, and so money can come to you effortlessly. Synchronicities can happen. Ideas can just come about
Yeah,
effortlessly that lead to money.
yeah,
Different things. So there's,
yeah,
let it all come, and you don't need to know the how. It's just that when you know what you are, the how just life just reveals itself to itself. Life
yeah,
will bring it about effortlessly in
yeah,
different ways. So the right thoughts will come, the right people will show up in your life. You know,
yeah,
I've seen that
yeah,
time and again. Like even with publishing some of these books, like just real life examples. Like I don't know, I never was a writer or published anything. It's just like synchronicities, like life came through and like effortlessly. A publisher just happened to like a friend introduced me to a publisher out of Hollywood, California. Oh yeah, this is good transcript. Yeah, I can help you get this published. Boom, books
right.
published. Now I got like what 6, 7 books out. I'm doing like cohorts with Judy on, I'm doing coaching. I'm getting people calling me doing mirror sessions with people, like kind of what we're doing. So money's just coming in, and I'm not even like, I don't even feel like I'm doing anything. It's just like
Yeah,
all effortlessly
yeah.
happening. Um, because the effortless being can do that. You don't have to do all the,
It's
the
very
way the
helpful.
world's
Yeah,
the conditioning telling you got to work hard, you got to have all these degrees and
yeah,
or you got to go in a factory and work. Even David talks about like having self-respect. The infinite being has
yes,
self-respect.
exactly.
That's why aligning with whatever is easy and effortless, and the infinite being can bring all that to you when you
Yeah,
see through those limited beliefs. And that's kind of like what we're doing. Judy and I are doing, like trying to help people to see that through those limited beliefs that are out there.
yeah. And I find after self-realization, in general, people don't manifest anymore based on lack,
Mhm.
because they already know they are everything and they are abundance. So that one seems sort of like a byproduct of self-realization. You get it for free.
I love that.
Yeah. However, if they are innocently not seeing that they may manifest the opposite by still believing I don't really deserve it, that last part I think is quite helpful to add and say, hey, have a look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because having to look through it, seeing through it, then they'll drop it. They'll say, "Oh, that's not this belief isn't serving me. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm working hard to try to get money because I have this belief that I have to believe it." So you see through it, and
Yeah.
like you said, when you realize your true self, that I am the creator, I am the abundance, I am the infinite being, I am that. Wow, and everything comes to me effortlessly. I'm effortlessly being. My beingness is already full. I am
Hmm.
already whole and complete. My cup is runneth over and it flows everywhere and everything comes
Yeah.
effortlessly.
Yeah.
And synchronicities, the right people, right situations.
Hmm.
It's just flowing. It's not even
It
like,
is.
oh, I'm coming up with this plan. Like I got to have this goal and I got to write out this meticulous plan. Spontaneous.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, I could just hold the space. It's beautiful.
It is. It is beautiful. Yeah.
Like you're on the other side of the world, so to speak, but Amsterdam. I'm in
Yes.
Pennsylvania. I'll be coming to Amsterdam. Told you that.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I want to see you.
I'll meet you too there. I'll meet you.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Judy's going to be there with her husband. I'll be there with my wife. And
Yeah.
we'd love to
Yeah.
meet you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You, are you
my
down?
office
Are you
center.
downtown? You downtown Amsterdam? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, our office is really at the center, at one of the canals
Oh,
in
okay, cool.
Amsterdam. So I can just walk to wherever you will be.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I'll send you the hotel we're going to be at. We're staying at the same hotel.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That'd be
Yeah,
neat.
I thought, imagine, I thought because I could just tell, okay, this will happen.
Yeah. It was just all lined up effortlessly.
Completely
When
clear.
I emailed Judy, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to see her. I've seen her on your channel and David Bingham's, and
Yeah,
she said that'd be kind of cool." So
fantastic. Yeah, I love
yeah.
it.
Anyone else out there want to join us?
Exactly. Who
Oh,
knows? It could be
yeah, you
kind of,
never know what's going to
yeah,
come.
yeah. Everything is sort of small in Europe, you
Yeah,
know,
is it?
a lot
Yeah.
of people kind of. So if
Hmm.
people are from Belgium or Germany or, even France, it's doable. It's,
Everything's doable. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very cool. What else is going on? The mind comes in. What else is going on? Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just kind of what's alive for me right now is just the doing the abundance thing with Judy, and then the books are coming through, and then doing the mirror sessions with people, finding joy in that, and just aligning the everyday life, to be peaceful and whatever effortlessness there is, ease, joy, following the joy. Just aligning each day. And it's really simple stuff. I mean, it could be like drinking coffee, going to the gym, helping somebody with a workout, like, I don't know, writing a book, getting on a Zoom call, talking to people. Traveling seems to be in it. My wife's really into traveling, so we've been doing she likes cruising, so why not?
Hmm.
I'm along for the ride for the cruises, seeing
And
all these
what's great,
different places.
we can do it from everywhere, which is
Yeah,
also, I love it. It's really, really nice. Yeah.
freedom.
And what I'm noticing is just this week that the decision was made to start working part-time, maybe 90%, maybe 80,
Yeah.
and then either do nothing at all on that day or reserve it for things like this, for interviews, for conversations,
Yeah, because
because
I find the interviews are enjoyable. Like I like talking to people, like doing the interviews and stuff. I find it very enjoyable. I'm meeting people all over and having connection. I like having the connections with people and hearing their stories and bonding with people. Like I don't know, there's like it feels good. There's something joyful about that. Get the community or
yes,
something.
yeah. And that is also incredible. I mean, I have to plan these meetings sometimes and schedule it. And it's really like Australia, US, Greece, and all these time zones. And it's really enjoyable. And sometimes just to realize the
Yeah,
fact that someone on the other side of the world and they know you better because they know what you are and vice versa than people that have known you for 20 years.
I know it's gonna be crazy because I mean, even Judy, like I've just talked to her on Zoom calls and stuff like that. And we've been working on the book, having conversations like you and I are. Like, I haven't met either one of you, but yet I'm gonna be in Amsterdam for the first time, and all three of us are gonna meet. There's gonna be like, I feel like I like known you for like
Yes,
forever. You
it
know what I
is.
mean?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Isn't it cool? Like, that's a really cool aspect, I think. I don't know.
Yes, it
People
is.
don't talk about that, but that's kind of cool.
Oh, it's an extra gift somehow.
Yeah, doesn't it? That's how I feel too.
Already didn't need anything else, and then now you get even more.
Yeah, it's so
Let's
cool.
add to it. It's really cool.
It's
And I do
pretty.
remember in one of my last calls, conversation with David, that I did say it seems to be like a pattern that people that have found their true nature somehow, they don't have anyone close to them that sees it or is interested. Like even partners, family members, usually. So there are exceptions, but usually you're quite alone there.
Yeah.
And that sometimes it would be sort of nice if there could be more exchanges with people who get it, or just talk about the integration and things like
Yeah.
that. And just weeks after that, everything started rolling. Like we got in touch. I have so many people that are also in the community of David, and it's not like it used to be in the past around other teachers that everybody was still a seeker and you kept each other busy seeking and exchanging quotes and books
Mhm.
but nobody really knew what they were talking about.
Right.
I really sense a huge difference now with this community
Yeah, because
because
now it's people that are self-realized, so you're coming from a
no,
different
yeah,
space.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 In all its simplicity, no ego,
Yeah.
everything equal.
Yep.
It's
Equality.
amazing. Yeah, I couldn't
And
have
it's
dreamed
just like an
more.
ease about it too, like an effortlessness. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I've talked to a lot of people, in the community that are self-realized. That's what I do. I talk to a lot of them and meeting people
yeah.
all over. It's just like it's like my family. Like it's like it is family,
It is, yeah.
the whole community. I think it's great when people get together and talk, and
Mhm.
connect. Yeah, I had talking. Do you know Judith? Remember Judith? I don't know if you know her. She was kind of realized self. She was on David's channel too. I was talking to her yesterday too, and we were talking about what you were talking about. Like a lot of people, like close family and friends, like don't understand this. So it was nice. It was nice that we could talk because she could feel like we have that mutual, you know, in common. Like I could understand like what the space that she's in, or you know, after realization. Because a lot of people, I think, we after you're self-realized, sometimes they don't have that community, and they, like you said, they may feel alone or something.
And not that it matters, right? It doesn't matter
Doesn't matter.
really.
Yeah, ultimately.
Still, in the experience that's there anyhow, it's kind of nice that this happens.
Yeah.
It's just it's like an oil stain in a way. It also just spreads more and more, I find.
Mm.
And sometimes it with silly examples in daily life, that how's that for you? Or how's that for you? And then people share, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Let me have a look. Oh, yeah. A
Yeah.
new aspect you hadn't seen before
Right.
of how it could express itself. So, yeah, I'm just so grateful. Yeah.
Definitely. Anything else you want to share in your personal life? Because you said a lot of people resonated with everyday stories, or anything else that comes to mind.
And I think really those stories that I shared, they were also all quite recent.
Yeah.
They had everything to do with this. Like, how does it look in reality?
I tell you, when I was on that cruise, I could share one. Like when I was on the
Yeah.
the cruise that I was just on, um, and one of John talked about it in the interview I did with John, because he was on that cruise too, and he was saying he was observing, like on the ship, like there was this one girl that he was talking to, and he introduced me to her. And then when I had went up to her, I could tell that there was something she wanted to express. And so I was just like, she goes, "Oh, I feel something here." I said, "Well, what's going on? What's alive here? What's happening?" And then she just like kind of just like unloaded and just started just like venting and talking. And I just kind of like held the space like I was talking about, like the mirror. And by the end of the call, by the end of the call, the end of the conversation, you could see the relief on her. And I think she kind of realized her true nature right there, like on the thing. Because I was like, what is it that's having these thoughts of low self-worth or, feel, and that was the one that I was dealing with, was she was thinking she wasn't worthy and she was upset, but then she could see through it when I just held the space. And I said, I don't see you that way. I see you as whole and complete. And I said, just look in your direct experience, like right here, like what's really wrong? Is there anything wrong right now? Like, unless you start thinking about it. And I'm reminds of the Sailor Bob thing comes to me, because he was always use that line, like, what's wrong with right now? And they go, but just on the cruise there. So that was the thing. And I just felt like I had a lot of fun too. We were dancing, and I don't know, just the energy was good. Um, Food, like, enjoying like luxury dinners there. Like they had like the upscale specialty restaurants, and that's all okay. It's all good. It's all okay. We deserve to have the best. We deserve to be the best.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't, be kind to yourself. And I mean, that's the biggest advice they give to people. Be kind to yourself, and there's nothing serious going on. Enjoy the human experience. It's there to be. We're here. We're still, all the body's still here. Like,
Yeah.
enjoy the human experience, and you can bring your everyday life into alignment with ease, with joy, with effortlessness. And yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's a misunderstanding to say there's either spirituality or materialism.
Yeah.
And if you self-realized, there can't be materialistic things or money, or that it's been sort of dismissed. That's simply not true. That's one of those invitations as well.
Yeah, it's another invitation. Or you have to fit in a certain box. Like, I can't just, go out and dance and be crazy and have fun. Oh, you're not self-realized because you're not.
Yeah, that is also
It's
one.
like you're free to, yeah, like there's this like freedom you have. Like, I'm just free to,
Yeah,
free to be,
okay.
It's like this free to be feeling. Like,
Let's
and
show
it's all
yourself.
okay.
Great. That's also something you see in the community, but with people that are self-realized. They're all unique, of course, because everybody is unique.
Yeah.
But there is no spiritual jargon. I mean, yes, we have effortless being or awareness, if that's what you
Yeah.
would call spiritual jargon. But there is nothing like in the past. It was like the robes and the white clothes, and you know,
Yeah.
some pendant of some sort of, or you needed to have white hair, or there was a certain thing that everybody started doing, or they, got themselves a Sanskrit name, and I feel like this whole thing has dropped completely.
Yeah.
It's just regular, normal, simple, and
Ordinary.
that's
Yeah.
more
Ordinary.
accessible as well.
Yeah. You don't have to like get dressed up and go to India and live in a cave, or sit down and
No,
satsang or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
You want
Exactly.
to have a
Yeah.
satsang? We get to, when I come see you in Amsterdam, why don't we sit down and have a satsang with thousands of people? We'll dress
Only
in
if I
our
can
robes.
sit. I want to sit in the front row.
You want
I
to
want to get the most of the transmission.
you want to feel the energy in the front row. You could sit right beside me at my feet. No. Funnier. It's just the way they used to do it. And that was okay
You
for that
know,
time,
I'm also not
but
dismissing it, right? I'm not.
yeah,
It's
I'm
been
not
done.
either. I'm just, because of how it is now, it's
Yeah,
just, it's ordinary. It's,
it
yeah,
did create sort of hierarchy. I mean, it
yeah.
did. It's
Because,
equality.
yeah, because you're like the guru and they're there.
Yeah,
It's like, we're all
yeah.
equal. And that's why I even said, even like, coming from this space of counselors and
Mhm.
therapists and psychotherapists, they come from this space that this other person is broken, that they're not whole. How much better if you came from the space of seeing what it truly is? That person is the infinite being that you're looking at. They're whole, they're complete, they're healthy, they're happy. It's just that they're believing this story of separation that they're not. They're believing what the mind's telling them they're not. Why not come from that space and be the mirror and reflect that back to people and let them realize what they truly are, remember what they truly are, and watch how
Yeah,
that just transforms the whole thing.
exactly.
I don't really feel that coming through. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's just fun. Sometimes I don't even know, like, it's spontaneity. Like, I don't know what words are going to come, what's going to happen, what's going to do.
No.
And I'm okay. You know what the thing is? You said it earlier. I'm okay with not knowing. Isn't there like an
Mhm.
okayness with not knowing?
Mhm.
It's okay.
It's the best.
And I love the spontaneity. Like, we're just going to meet up, like, see what happens. And
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right what you said about the, going to India and dressing up in the robes, and it's really changed. It's
Mhm.
ordinary now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
I love it. All right, well, I'll let you go. I guess I had you on the phone a long time. What's next
No,
for you? What's the rest of your day look like?
I'm going home after
Okay.
this.
What
Have a
time is
nice
it
dinner.
there? What time? It's 11:20 here in the morning.
5:30 p.m.
Oh,
our
okay.
time.
So do you guys hit rush hour, or you're
Yeah,
right in the
we
city?
do.
Okay.
Yeah, there's rush hour. Yeah. So I'm in Amsterdam right now. There's always rush hour.
You have to drive back home, or do you have to, can you walk in the city, or do
Or
you have to,
drive.
you
No,
drive?
I live outside of Amsterdam now. I felt, drawn somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
Nature, uh, yeah,
Gotcha. All right.
idyllic. And yeah. So I love Amsterdam still, but I wouldn't like to live there anymore. It's too
Okay.
intense, too crowded. And
Yeah.
I just feel like the withdrawing happens more and more. Just enjoy nature.
Yeah. I like being out in nature too. There's something about you feel at one with it, and oneness, unity,
Yeah.
consciousness. You can feel it, really feel it and sense it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go. And always
Yeah.
nice chatting with you. And I will see you out in Amsterdam if we don't talk before then.
Absolutely.
It'll be
Absolutely.
fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Thank you for today and have a great day. And
Thank
yeah, I
you.
look forward to the conversation. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I always love it. We have a good time. All right. See you,
All
Rami.
right. Okay.
Bye.